This conference will now be recorded.
We'll begin with the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to the October 11th Marion County Commission meeting. We'll begin with public comments. We have some. Would you like to make some public comments?
Just introduce myself.
Sure.
If
Come
there's
up to
questions.
the microphone. And
Sorry, I wasn't on the
That's fine.
agenda. My name's Craig Isom. I'm the program director for EagleMed and AMR in Wichita. I oversee our fixed wing and rotary aircraft in Wichita that's run at EagleMed, and then also our ground operations that are in Wichita and Winfield.
Okay.
So I kind of have, and we work for a larger organization known as Global Medical Response, that is the parent company, but at the local level we're EagleMed and AMR.
Okay.
So just wanted to come and offer any questions you would maybe have about how we could help with your EMS services if needed, that we're a resource that's out there that can be sought if needed. I'm not trying to impose on anyone or intrude, just, we're a resource. We are in lots of communities in Kansas. My hometown where I worked EMS for 20 years, we have a branded ambulance at the hospital that we run strictly for that hospital. And so we have lots of relationships on the smaller levels, and just kind of wanted to come and then had some discussions with local hospitals in the area.
Sure.
And about some needs. And
Okay, tell me something about what you just said. Your hometown has an ambulance sitting there that's EagleMed ambulance that's hired by a hospital. Is that what you just said?
it is correct.
Okay, so they contract you out.
Correct.
And that's a little different infrastructure than what we've operated under.
Right, and there's different way, and we still in that community still have a separate 911 system.
Okay.
The community does. It's a fire-based system that still runs 911 calls, but that truck is dedicated solely to William Newton Hospital and does
Okay.
transfers
Okay.
strictly for them.
Okay.
And you said you've been having discussions with the other hospitals?
We've had some
Preliminary.
higher level discussions just about what options there
Good.
are and those type of things.
Yeah, good. Good, we appreciate that. We appreciate you coming to introduce yourself to us
Yes.
and tell us a little bit more about the services you offer and your company. So we do appreciate that. Have you had a chance to talk to our interim EMS director?
I have not.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, we're kind of in the transition there. We have an interim director. In fact, we're interviewing this afternoon for a full-time position. But certainly would hope for a good relationship.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So because from an air perspective, we have the helicopter that flies in here and supports you guys. We have the aircraft in Junction City that's branded Lifestar, that's one of ours, and then EagleMed in Wichita. So we've got you covered from lots of directions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the next one, closest one then?
So Wichita is closer, and then Junction, they're just within a couple
Yep.
miles of each
Right.
other. And then we have one in Great Bend.
Great Bend,
And
still
then
there.
Hayes.
Okay.
They start getting farther. We also
Okay.
have one in Lawrence and
Southeast.
Chanute.
Yeah, okay.
So Wichita's and Junction are by far your closest.
Cool.
Are you just air, or do you have ground units too?
Both, air and ground. So in 2020, right at the height of the pandemic, there was AMR, which is the largest ground transport provider in the country, and then AMGH, which is Air Medical Group Holdings, was the largest private air transport company, which was EagleMed, one of the brands. AMR and AMGH merged and formed Global Medical Response, which is now the largest air and ground transport company in the world. We do stuff with FEMA, we support the government with that contract, and very large, about 38,000 employees, 310 aircraft across the country, very large organization. But you talk about it being a large organization, but I live in Winfield in a town of 12,000 people. I grew up on an ambulance, and we live in a community. We're not just we're a large company with lots of resources, but we're also local people that care about our communities and care about our patients. And so while it's nice to talk about the resources that we can bring, it's also nice to talk about the relationships that make us what we are. You're not just a big transport company that we're.
It's quite something how paramedics and I don't know if you hire anybody besides paramedics in your business, but
They live here and work in a lot of places. I mean, they travel for jobs for this. That's how much this field has grown. And
Yeah.
it's not just all hometown people anymore.
Yeah.
It's.
Because resources are, it's hard, resources are, the job market's, as you guys well know, it's changing. Just finding, I mean, we're struggling to find pilots, mechanics. I mean, it takes a lot to get an aircraft to go. I mean, you've got to have a nurse, a medic, a pilot, and a mechanic. And if
Yeah.
any one of those little wheels on that peg aren't there, you're not going anywhere. And so it's a, I mean, it's a daily struggle to, you know, to staff and to keep resources where you need them. And so.
Well, again, we appreciate you coming in. I think it's been educational for us, and hopefully we can keep building on this relationship.
Sure, I can leave some of my business
Yes,
cards,
please
I've
do.
got my
Please do.
contact information, and then I'll just.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thanks again, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
To come and feel free to email, phone call.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Leave one.
Oh, there you go. I had just enough.
Perfect.
All right.
But keep
Right.
it positive.
All right, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we've got a packed agenda today, and we're going to squeeze a couple more things in somehow, some way. Oh, I guess I should ask first, was there any public comments online? Not seeing
I didn't see any comments pop up. so.
There are no typed comments.
any, and no muted mics. Okay, move into agenda approval. Let's squeeze in a short discussion on county administrator. I'm going to squeeze in discussion about emergency management director. Any other additions to the agenda? All right, then we'll move into administrative business.
We have the sales tax, which we didn't have on payday, and the amount is, excuse me, 81,000. Oh, excuse me, it's 119,930,
Big.
or 119,320.96. Okay.
You get a breakdown of where that comes from?
No. We do not. I have the minutes of September, good grief. September 30th and October 3rd.
Commission's had a chance to review minutes September 30th, October 3rd. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Garing, is there a second? Second by
Second.
Commissioner Dalkey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion
I
carried.
abstained from the September 30th.
Okay, yeah.
Have to abstain from both.
Yeah,
And vote,
abstain.
and vote,
So 4 in favor, 1 abstention.
and vote yea on the October 3rd.
That's all in one motion. So
Yeah.
We're good.
I have two sets that were previously approved but not signed, and then front and back on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't wait on it.
Early checks.
Okay, Commission's had a chance to review early checks. Is there a motion to approve, or first of all, are there any questions? Not hearing any questions, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Garing to approve early checks in the amount of $97,693.72. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
That's okay. Here we go.
Okay, what else do we
In your packet, there was a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month for October of 2022.
have? Any comments by Commission? If not, I move to approve the proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, October of 2022.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
packet, there is a memo to go out for a bid for lease purchase for the financing of the 2002 Ford Explorer for the Marion County Health Department. That purchase was approved previously. The vehicle is in. We are paying for it out of the general fund, but
2022.
Okay.
Not a 20.
You said 2002 or 02 and
oh, sorry, 2022.
I was like, oh.
No.
2022.
What kind of diamond in the rough is this thing?
Nope, nope, nope.
Anyway,
2022.
Due to the way the budget was prepared, it would be most advisable to do a lease purchase on this vehicle and reimburse the county, unless you just want to pay for it out of the general fund. So the purchase approved amount was $37,103. The invoice amount is slightly higher due to some administrative
So
fees.
since you said there's like 6,000 in the line item,
So that would be, if you did a 6-year lease purchase or a 5-year lease purchase, that would fund the payment out of the health department for next year. And then you could add to the budget next year to start saving up for their next vehicle
yeah,
over time.
I know that the health department budget is very hard to administer.
The health department budget right now is a little bit in flux because we've had all these grants coming in and
Right.
going out, and with the transition in leadership, there have been some changes to how that is being tracked. And some of the multi-year grants previously were all shown in one budget year, which I think that is in transition to being shown in the correct budget years. And so we're having a little bit of, just the budget document itself doesn't have much wiggle room in it.
We don't have any other departments that run into that type of, I really feel like that in light of what we're gonna be looking at in interest rates, that we put a moratorium on the purchase of vehicles for any of the departments until they have budgeted for it, for that purchase. Because right now I can just guess what the rate's gonna be, but it's gonna be double or more what we'd have probably got 6 months ago.
So your other option for this purchase is just to pay for it out of the general fund as we have and not seek reimbursement.
No, I think.
Forego the lease
Yeah,
purchase.
I hate to raid the general fund for vehicle purchases. I think,
You take the general fund and treat it as a no interest loan.
Right.
And budget in their budget to pay back the general fund. And then we get away from interest.
Is that motion?
I'm waiting to see how
Impact.
bad of an idea that is.
impact on the general fund.
Well, I mean, the general fund can,
I know we can use it for anything,
and it's,
but that's the one fund that we need to be liquid, very liquid. And I'm not saying that that's gonna be a big hit on the liquidity, but once you start doing that,
What do you think,
Well-
35,000, or there's 32,000, what's the bid, 32,000?
37,103, and
37.
the actual amount that we're paying is
Yeah.
a little bit higher
you
because
know, if you do a 6% lease purchase over 4 years,
What's that gonna?
you're gonna want a lot of interest into that.
That's what
the actual invoice amount was $37,307
Yeah.
with some fees on there.
And there's 6,000 in the budget.
6,000 in next year's budget,
And that can make the payment probably for next year.
I'll
No, it wouldn't even make the payment.
I'll make a motion to seek lease purchase proposals.
Yeah, we don't have to approve it.
Yeah, we don't have to prove it, and then we can always make the choice to go
Then at that
general
point,
fund.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's wise to just to see what the market's gonna bear nowadays.
Okay, Commissioner Gearing's made the motion to proceed with the offer on lease purchase agreement for the 2022 Ford Explorer Health Department, 6-year agreement. Second.
You wanna go that long?
Well, you got.
Well, that's just the
something.
way that I've prepared it, so
Yeah.
we can change it.
I'll
It's up to you.
Just see what comes back.
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Becker, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion carried 5-0.
Okay, and it does say on here that, and if it doesn't, I'll be sure and add it, that we reserve the right to reject any and all bids.
Correct.
So,
Very good.
okay.
I come up with the wrong figure, I come with 8,000. So, you wouldn't have that much interest, would you?
6% year over year.
What do you have next for us?
Okay, sorry.
You're gonna have the most the first year.
Well, I mean, interest is gonna be less every year as the balance goes down.
I did wanna-
Amortization
Can we have the
schedule, I
attention
can't
of the
tell you.
commission, please? Let's bring it back.
Hey,
I'm gonna use the gavel to get things under control.
Go for it.
Just want to remind you of the Senior Citizens Annual Luncheon, which is Thursday, October 20th. It's the day after KAC. I have, I wrote down Kent, David Mueller, and Randy's name on here. We need the funds and also to fill out your little form for that. And is anyone else thinking they might be able to go? That's Thursday, October 20th. It'll be in Hillsborough and it'll be at noon.
we have to take that with us, or the form?
No, you'll fill it out and hand it to me with your money, and then I'll give it to the
Okay.
Department on Aging. So,
How much is it?
it's $5.25. And David Crowfoot, I don't have you on the list.
How
Are
about
you
credit?
wanting
Do I
to
have
try to
anything in
go,
my
or?
account?
I can check.
No,
I haven't looked at that in a long time. You have that one.
It's on Thursday.
It's right
It
after
is on
October 20th.
Thursday,
Right after
October,
KAC.
Thursday, October 20th, yes.
I think after the end of this
Any
week,
gratuity?
beginning of next week,
No.
I'm going to have to play catch up, so I don't think I.
But
Okay.
Had to work for a couple of days.
All right, does everybody have the form then? Okay, you have one. And also wanted to take a moment to let you know, there's this. And if you just fill out your paperwork and I can take care of the money part when you're doing your interviews.
Okay.
Okay. There was one thing on the discussion about the Department on Aging for the security system. The current system they have is malfunctioning and it keeps sending random alarms like at all hours when nothing is happening to dispatch. And they're the only ones left on that old system. And so we had talked about putting them on the system that we have now. However, it's not a great system, in my opinion, and the cost without adding the 800 megahertz radio, just to install a box and 2 buttons is $10,145 plus the cost of the radio. And so I don't know that that is the best option to move forward with. I did ask, I took the liberty of asking the folks that are doing our cameras on their, if they have a different idea. And so we do have some thoughts from them. So
Okay.
that would be still not cheap, but probably less than half of
And
this.
it also brings you up in the future too.
And it also would have a camera associated with it, not
I'd
just.
like to hear what they have. 'cause they-
Okay, so I will bring that back at a later time, but I just wanted to make you aware of this and,
Appreciate
Would that just cover the office over there?
we don't own that building,
I
so,
know.
yes, it just would cover the 2 offices. They might be able to put additional in there, but I don't know how much really wiggle room we have with not owning that building, so. Okay, so just wanna make you aware of that. Also, couple of invitations. One is for Thursday, this coming Thursday at 6:30. The Leadership Marion County program is having their graduation celebration over at the Elgin. That's at 6:30 in the evening. You're all invited to go and eat, and they're going to share a little bit about their experience in the program. And so that would be at 6:30 over here at the Elgin. So if you want to just think about that, let me know before you leave today if you think you could make that or you want to try that.
I won't be there.
Okay.
What's the cost of the meal?
The cost of the meal is covered by the program right now. We have extra RSVPs, and so you're welcome to attend. The meal is, that whole event is a little bit, it's being paid for out of the Leadership Marion County funds. So the program itself, they've had, we had an orientation, Then they had a 2-day leadership training session in Wichita that they attended, and then they did 2 days of countywide tours. Then they had a community application day where they met and discussed different issues within Marion County that are things that they would like to help with. They were supposed to have a second day of that community application, but there was an illness by the presenter, so they had to reschedule that, which that is going to be shortened and held right before the graduation. And so that is what the program has consisted of in a quick little nutshell there. We had 10 participants in the program, and the committee members that have been working on this are Becky Nickel with the Peabody Community Foundation, Tristan Cope with Extension Office, Ashley Herpick from my office. Commissioner Mueller has been involved. We had Larry Geist from USD 397, and for a time we had Max Heinrichs from Hillsborough USD, but he is not able to continue on the program. Developed a little logo, which is what we'll be using. And anyway, if you all are interested in attending that graduation, it would probably be a fun, thing for you to see if you're interested kind of in that program. So, and then we have an invitation to the joint district county commission meeting. It's going to be held in Dickinson County, and that is Monday, November 7th at 6 o'clock at the Dickinson County Courthouse. And they're asking for an RSVP on or before November 1st, so I'll remind you all of that, and we can talk about it again at the next meeting. But I just got this. So.
What's the date, November what?
November 7th, this night before the election.
Good time to meet.
Yes.
You're not going to what you say.
I'm doubtful that I will go.
Things are starting to happen, aren't
Yep.
When
they?
was
Season's here.
Yes, it is. Okay, and the only other thing I have is a short executive session at some point during the meeting for a family medical leave request.
Okay, we'll do that later.
Okay,
See, Nikki's
sounds
been
good.
patiently waiting, so Nikki, we're ready, believe it or not.
Oh, you're right.
Can't hear me.
I can't really hear you guys.
I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay.
That's okay.
We kind of changed the layout a little
I
bit,
know.
so you're not at the end, you can kind of curve in. So welcome.
So I guess we're just here for vehicle purchase. I think in your packets you had the quotes from Midway. I did ask Seth about ordering a new vehicle, but he said at minimum it'd be like 8 to 10 months. Which we can still work with that.
And just as a refresher, and when we prepared the budget for next year, we put in 30,000 in the middle column for this year to do a vehicle purchase. That's the budgeted amount to spend in 2022. And so that's one reason that Nikki went and tried to look for vehicles that were in that budget and that would be available to purchase this year, so.
But Colorado has sold, so the Colorado's good.
Okay. Did you have a recommendation on the ones that are that?
We kind of liked the Trailblazer as well. I did have a couple of, Hillsborough Ford didn't get me anything until like 4:30 on Friday, so I didn't print anything off. They're both used, they're 2020s. I have those if you guys want to look at them. We did put a car in there as well.
Where's the mileage on these things?
The what?
All these vehicles, I'm having a hard time finding the mileage
The
on.
mileage. The Trailblazer is brand new, so it's not even in yet.
The second one is brand new. Oh, Trailblazer?
Yes.
So would that be your recommendation as a Trailblazer?
Since
that a Trailblazer?
since the truck is gone, yes.
Did you get a price on it?
A lot different.
The Trailblazer, they told me between
crossover.
24 and 25,000 on the Trailblazer,
Okay.
so brand new. Mileage on the other two are like the third line down.
Yeah, that one's
They all have
72,000.
Oh, there's a
higher
mileage, I see
mileage.
70.
And close to what the new one would cost, honestly.
Right, compared to the new one,
Yeah,
that seems to be a good recommendation.
those are all miles out to where you should be thinking of trading them in already. See, the Colorado's got.
How many are you getting rid of?
The Blazer. The O2 Blazer.
And there's there a reason why we didn't get a bid from Hillsborough Ford?
I have two right here.
They came in late.
They didn't come till 4:30, but I
Oh.
did print some off for you guys.
Okay.
So they had a 2020 Fusion for $27,350 with 7,800 miles, but it is not on their lot.
7,800?
Yes.
Still.
And then there's a 2020 Escape that has, it's 25,992, and it has 45,000.
That's pretty small, isn't it?
I don't know if you guys knew this, but Ford stopped making cars 2 years ago.
Sorry for you.
Ford stopped making cars.
Cars.
Like,
Okay.
Like
Four-door-
so they only make
four-door.
like SUVs or trucks now, so you can't get.
That's because they're going to EV.
Well, they also figure with their chip shortage, they go to their higher dollar vehicles.
You guys wanna look at these ones?
Yeah.
This is the Fusion.
Ford Fusion? Ford dealership.
That's from Ford.
From Ford, okay.
And then that's the Escape. There's one for each of you, so.
Oh.
I didn't know how you guys wanted it.
Okay. One for each of us.
One feature item.
Okay.
Oh,
The Trailblazer, is it four-wheel drive?
It is, what'd you say, four-wheel drive? It is not. It is a sports acting, I guess, so it is.
So it's gonna be relatively the same size as the Escape. But
way better mileage with an Escape.
And the price on the Trailblazer again?
He said between 24 and 25.
Okay.
He won't know, since it's not there yet. He
Sure.
doesn't have all the information,
Right.
but that is the price range. It should be here November 9th, is what he said.
But you don't need a huge vehicle for the stuff you do.
No, it would be nice to have something that if we needed to take it out into the country, we could. If it's a car, we would probably switch our older Fusion as a field vehicle and use the car for in town or education.
Escape is four-wheel
The
drive.
Escape, probably not four-wheel drive either. It is. Oh, front-wheel drive. Yeah, front-wheel drive.
Which sometimes better than four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Especially in the ice.
But four-wheel
Well,
drive
it's
gets you stuck.
better.
You think you get brave with that going in, or?
Do you have anything that's four-wheel drive currently?
Yeah, but they're not gonna go out bad.
Well, it,
Our Blazer
stuff,
currently is.
yeah, sometimes stuff happens. And
I think our Jeep is. I meant to check that, but
That,
I don't know if our truck is or not.
sometimes you
What?
just out there.
Yeah.
I've had it happen.
I don't know what
Been
it is.
out
That's pretty
clear day,
basic.
and then all of a sudden, by the time I get done, it starts raining downpour. Before you make it back to the highway, it gets pretty slick.
Mhm.
Do you have preference?
Be nice to have something that got the kind of mileage that Escape got.
I guess.
Trying
Are
to
you
find
asking
something
them?
for professionals that love the car shop, so. think you made your recommendations as a trailblazer.
That's new, correct?
That
That's
is
brand
new.
Yeah, in the $24,000 to $25,000 range.
I think that's right.
Is that a motion?
I'd make that motion by Trailblazer.
I'll second it.
24, 25, 25 high.
We have a motion and a second. Proceed with that offer.
What kind of mileage does that get, Randy?
Let's see.
15 to 18 probably.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
They all get.
Escape? Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
No,
Jesus.
same as the Escape.
Any other discussion? If not, a call question. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Got your decision.
Thank you. When I know the actual price,
Yeah.
do I need to come back up here?
I think it-
Only if it's over 25,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you put the other one on Purple Wave, or?
They will take it as a trade-in, or I guess I can do whatever you guys recommend.
That's it, that's actually a really good question, because the health department
Mhm.
has the vehicle and the dealership offered them a really low amount for the trade-in, so we did not move forward with the trade-in. So, whether you wanna do sealed bids or do Purple Wave, we will have that one that the health department has as well.
We'll have 2 vehicles to sell.
Yeah, older vehicle, they're not gonna give you anything.
Probably better to go Purple Wave route, wouldn't
You can do sealed bid, the only thing with Purple Wave, you pay commission on both sides. It doesn't
The
matter.
buyer pays.
it? Yeah, seller does not.
You got buyer commission.
The thing that, about sealed bids is, do we allow test drives? And what kind of liability does that give us? Or do we just let them see it running?
If you're gonna
Just
have
like-
a sealed bid, you about have to have a mechanic statement or something in there saying it's been
Yes.
checked.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Garing that we put the used vehicles on Purple Wave. I second it.
You buy as is.
Further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
It absolves us from a lot of
Okay.
responsibility and
Perfect.
Spending
liability.
there.
As
I guess
is,
we'll just get with
Plus
you
they
on
handle
that
the title
or
work.
later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
Thank you.
courthouse couldn't handle the title work.
All right, Krista. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, you're fine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Well, we're back to some more vehicle discussion. Our vehicle has arrived and it is ready for us.
Nice.
So that's exciting news.
Mhm.
They did offer us $600 for the trade-in of our 2002 Chevy Tahoe. So that's what I'd like to present today, to see if we can do bids for that.
We just made a motion to go with Purple Wave.
You wanna do it?
Oh, Purple Wave.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have, maybe it can be paired with the
Okay.
appraiser's vehicle.
yeah,
All right.
two of them on.
All right.
That way you got it taken care of.
Okay. We have been busy with the startup of our flu shot clinics. So far, we've been to Burns, Florence, Gossel, and then Tampa Senior Center today. We've administered 211 shots as of this morning. And we still have Durham, Center School, and Peabody left to go for our outreach clinics.
We really appreciate you doing the outreach clinics. I think that's very good for visibility and getting more to more people.
Yeah, we get a
Appreciate
lot of
that.
good feedback. The bivalent vaccine, which we started administering on September 19th. So far, we've administered 244 vaccines since that date. And since my last report, July 25th, we've done a total of 807 immunizations total through the health department. And currently, I wanted to give you an update, just to kind of let you know about funding with, I know back to kind of the building topic. I do have that expanding infrastructure grant, and it has to be expended by the end of July of 2023. We can use that grant funding for carpet, we can use it for windows, we can't use it for construction, but we can use it for furniture. We will need another exam table.
How much was the grant?
We have approximately 70,000 left in it.
Sounds like a lot, but doesn't go very far.
Every dollar helps.
Just a few windows.
Thank you.
Then also our hearing and vision screenings, Charlotte Dirksen and Aaron Hine have been busy doing that through the schools, through our contract through special ed. And that is all I have for you today.
There's been a lot of events.
You need volunteers for the health fair.
Yes. Did you,
I
did you
mentioned
speak
it
with
to
them?
him.
Okay.
Yeah, remind me of the date again.
November 5th, it's a Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
I'll do 8 to 9.
Okay. We were wanting to get some greeters for the health fair. We have some very cool things going on between the two hospitals and the health department. We're giving away an Apple Watch. The labs, they have labs that they'll be drawing there, that they're giving at a really great rate. Rosie the Skunk through Atmos is coming, and the extension office has a blender bike for kids where they make a smoothie with the bicycle. We'll have a presentation on the window punches and seatbelt cutters in case someone wants to be in an accident through a preparedness. Marcy will be doing that.
Is it held up back up to the Marine Gym this year?
At the Sports and Aquatic Center this year. And next year is tentatively planned for Tabor College. Would anyone else like to volunteer the other time slots?
I'll take the next one.
What were the time slots again?
We go from 8 to 11.
Okay.
So I don't know
You've
if
got
somebody
8
would like to
8 to
do
9.
every hour.
Okay, and Commissioner
9 to
Hawkey
10.
take 9 to 10. I'll take 10 to 11.
Thank you very much.
I gotta go early, we got a bunch of thermometers we're
So we
gonna
got,
donate.
Oh,
so we got it, do we have them filled in?
We can have more than.
Oh, is that more?
We can have more than one person there at a time too. Sounds like with your forum rules that only two maybe
at a
at a
time.
Yeah, 2 at a
time.
time.
Yeah.
So if someone else would like to come, you are definitely welcome. We'll also be giving flu shots there at the health fair. And I know that they've invited a lot of vendors. We're gonna have some good giveaways that people have donated. So hopefully we get a good turnout.
Are you doing COVID shots there, boosters?
We were just going to do flu shots there. With the COVID, we have different doses. It doesn't come in a pre-filled syringe. We have to draw them.
Okay.
And since the only 2 nurses available will be Pam and myself.
COVID test.
Be busy.
Yeah.
Booster, not test.
That's it.
Great, a lot going on.
A lot going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Krista.
And I guess whenever we get Purple Wave information or however next
I'll have to
step.
figure out someone to work with on that, either the sheriff or Road and Bridge, because I've never done it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And that check, you should be able to pick up next door.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks.
And then be sure and let them know when you're coming to get it. Let the dealership know when
I
you're
talked to
coming.
them, yep, this morning. Yep, thank you.
Very good. All right, we're ready for planning and zoning. Sharon? Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Got some recommendations for us.
Yes, sir, I do. Okay, first up, we have case PC 2207, and this is an application for conditional use permit for an RV campground just on the outskirts of Peabody, Kansas. Devin is here, he's the applicant. So the proposal is that if, given power availability, he would like to be able to set up enough campsites for 10 to 20 RVs and have the sewer and water hookup and electric hookup there on site. Have you all had a chance to look through the
Yes.
packet?
And the sewer, you'd have to have your own lagoon.
Correct.
Because it will not hook up to the city.
Well, what I was looking at doing was a holding tank.
Oh, okay.
Getting it pump.
And that works for the sanitarium?
So we'll work to get those specifications, the
Okay.
size and the pumping requirements and all of that.
Good.
And that's rural water,
It would be on city water.
city water?
Yes, his residence is on rural water, but the city of Peabody gave approval to hook him up to the city water service for the campground.
So We've got the water and sewer taken care of, access is good.
Yes, there's an existing access for ingress and egress. They would just use his existing driveway. Is it a 20-foot culvert?
Yeah.
There's
As of right now,
an existing 20-foot culvert.
I thought in reading the discussion, it was good timing because there's not only construction going on now, but there's the events every year, not only in Peabody and Florence, but in Marion.
Right.
I mean, that would be a really, really good opportunity for people.
Something we have a real shortage of in this county, RV hookups.
Yes, that's true, and I know that starting in November, we'll have a lot more people looking for camper hookups that are working on with the construction crews on the project.
Okay. I lost track. Is there a resolution? There's a.
We do have a resolution that was provided this morning.
I don't mean to cut off any discussion or questions, I'm sorry, I just.
How soon can it be up and running?
Hopefully 3 weeks. I got the power transformer and all that is on hold for me right now, and same with the water meter. So it's just mainly getting rock in there.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, I'd move approval of resolution number 2022-27, resolution granting a conditional use permit to establish an RV campground on property located at 674 Old Mill, Peabody, Kansas.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gehring. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. And that will be published in the newspaper after that's official.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
I want to thank you to.
Yes, sir.
The next item that I have is the text amendments to the county zoning and subdivision regulations. Hopefully you were all able to open the email that included those attachments. Mostly this is just cleaning up the multitude of amendments that had been made along the way since 2011, I think, was the last big update. And then inclusion of non-traditional houses and short-term rentals was kind of the two big items that were added to the regulations. Were there any?
That covers your Airbnbs then, right?
That's right.
And making them consistent with the ones that we've approved.
Yes, so
That's what we've talked about in previous meetings.
That's right, the two that were just recently approved through your board, those were set as conditions on those two, and now we're implementing that same set of, well, they were conditions in the CUP, but they'll be regulations.
Yeah, they're regulation.
Yeah,
So we're all consistent.
right.
Perfect.
I wasn't here for that. Was there anything made as far as fairness with the Airbnbs to like your local hotels, where the hotels pay? I know it probably has nothing to do with your enforcement or regulation, but as far as a bed tax or anything like that, commercial property.
That wouldn't fall under planning and zoning.
Do you want to see the conditions that were approved or?
I'll look into it. I thought if I had to get a quick answer, I would.
Okay. No, they would be required to pay taxes just like any other.
Sales tax.
Yes, sales tax. As far as a bed tax, that's not something that we have required from the county perspective. If they're registered with like an Airbnb or Verbo or whatever, they have some other taxes that I think they add on there.
And then the property stays residential, or?
Yes.
Are those type rentals exempt from transient guest tax?
I don't know about that.
We'd have to find out.
Tina will have an answer for the next meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't, if you had an answer, that'd be amazing, but, I mean, it's just some of the things that I just want to make sure that.
So,
I've asked several people, and some people told me yes, and some people told me no. Of course, different states too, different counties.
I guess the biggest difference is that right now you can take a house and rent it out for 30 days at a time, and it's totally under the radar. There are no requirements, there are no
Right.
regulations.
It's
If
just
you
legal.
turn in the taxes on it, that's kind of between you and the tax gods. But this is allowing the county to actually regulate it. Short-term rental would be like 28 days or less consecutively.
Okay.
Okay, other questions on the short-term rentals? What I call B&B. If not, how about the, what'd you say? Different type of housing structure? Would that be the container?
That's right, so non-traditional structures.
Non-traditional, thank you.
Basically, in a nutshell, anything under 750 square feet would have to go through a conditional use process. So they wouldn't be allowed to just come in and apply for a building permit and have that approved administratively. It would go through the board would look at the type of material, their proposal for porches and siding, different things like that before that could be approved.
On what kind of building now?
Non-traditional structure.
And this has solar energy in it also, these regs.
Yes. Yes, the solar regs, nothing was changed since those were adopted in, what was that,
What was that definition again of a non-traditional?
Basically anything under 700.
Just on square footage.
Yeah.
So that,
So you stack
Well-
three connexes together and you met the.
So the actual definition would be a non-traditional structure shall mean shipping containers, railroad cars, truck vans, converted mobile homes, trailers, recreational vehicles, bus bodies, vehicles, grain bins, and similar prefabricated items and structures originally built for purposes other than as for residence. And anything under 750
I
square
was just
feet.
thinking about those little sheds that already have a porch on them and all
Yeah.
that.
Mhm. The cabins.
Yeah.
Storage sheds you can't live in, but you can store stuff in them.
No, these are the ones that are actually, they're not finished on the inside, because they could be finished off to be a residence.
Yeah, but they're marketed as a shed, right? So that would make them fall into this category.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we do have some of those out there that have been permitted in the county, but it was before we had any way to regulate that.
Is there any footings or foundations that go along with these things?
That would be addressed in the conditional use permitting process. There again, it's hard to control some of those requirements because we don't enforce building code.
Other questions? We certainly appreciate the work of the planning commission in working through all those topics of some good discussion in the property proceedings.
Yes, they've done an excellent job of throwing questions out and concerns. They've been hashed and rehashed. There were several work sessions building up to the meeting where the motion was made. I mean, they put a lot of work into this.
Other questions?
Touchscreen at the house.
I was on the iPad yesterday. I was not the screen.
I got it shot too.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the text?
There's a resolution
Oh,
that you would need to.
okay, very good. Thank you. Randy, if you could pass the resolution, please.
You want to sign this?
I know, we need to move the resolution first. Approve it. I would like to be able to read it and not have to try to do it from memory. Stumble through it.
And you see it,
Yes. I move Resolution 2022-28, resolution concerning the adoption by reference of the October 2022 edition of zoning and subdivision regulations for all the unincorporated portions of Marion County, Kansas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Gehring. Discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carried 4-1. How does it feel after you get through amendments, text amendments after a long process?
It's a relief to have them to this point.
A lot of research and work goes into it.
Yes.
You know, start looking in your housing that's 3D printed, concrete laid out. Have you seen those yet?
They come in there.
Have you seen those? They're coming.
Doing the Valley Center.
But see, now they would fit, so now they are traditionally built for housing.
As long as they're over 750 square feet, I suppose.
Another can of worms.
To have an executive session with Brad's not, because he's on
No, he's not.
the meeting, okay.
So it would have to be attorney, client, or is it personnel performance?
I think it would probably be attorney-client.
Okay. And it's, we're gonna have to wait, hopefully the 24th.
Okay.
That'll be our next meeting.
Okay. Maybe, so then could I ask for an executive session to determine what I should do about the situation? And then if it needs to be attorney-client for the next meeting?
But I refer to Tina on that.
So if it's personnel performance, as far as performance of yours or one of your employees' job duties, then I think it would be fine.
Okay.
So it is personnel. It's okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? 5 is good.
5 is probably good.
I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1 for personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission, Sharon and Tina, for 5 minutes from 1:29 to 1:34.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gehring. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 1:34.
Shooting anymore.
No, that's.
This conference will now be
He's a
recorded.
consultant.
Yeah.
All right, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. Thank you, Sharon. We appreciate, again, extend to the planning commission our appreciation for their work.
I will, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. believe it, we're actually 10 minutes early.
That's right.
Bryce is ready. Why don't we bring Bryce in? I won't forget that 5-minute executive session.
And, you know, honestly, that, even if I just tell you some general details, if you don't need to know specifics,
we'll
we
get
can
it.
have approval
We'll
either
get
way.
it. Come on in.
Where do I sit?
Just because you're 10 minutes early,
Yeah.
I can go back out.
next week you'll be half hour late.
Make sure you finish 10 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah, we're,
He's trying to catch me.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is it No Shave October?
Yep.
Okay.
Leading into No Shave November.
Yeah,
Gotta get a head start.
sure.
all right, what do you have for us today?
I have 3 permits for you. One is for a boring and 2 of them are for temporary entrances. Nothing major.
All right, I'm sorry that I cannot remember our process on that. We take a
Authorize the
You've
chairman to
done
sign.
it both ways. You've done it by motion or just by signature, so.
All right, let's do it by motion. I move to approve, what do you call them, road crossings? 22-6, 22-7, and 22-8.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. That one they're officially approved. 5-0.
Okay. While we're heading that way, a salary change for new employee.
I just heard about that one.
Let's go back this way and then back that way.
Over the road.
All right, we have a salary change for new employee in Road and Bridge, Douglas Ludwig, at $2,662 per month, effective 9/28/2022. New equipment operator 2.
I actually was contacted today by an employee that is retired that would like to drive part-time. So we're gonna check into that as well. So,
It's 4 days a week instead of 5, huh?
no, he said probably no more than 3. He said he's gotta be careful with Social Security, so.
But ever an old bit help.
Well, that's what I look at. It's a kind of an inconvenient thing, I guess you say, if you can't plan on 5 days, but yet if we can get to 3, maybe that's something to work, so.
Maybe with inflation, we'll get a few more retirees.
Could be. Well, he said it was very specific. He got a letter from Social Security. He said, you cannot work anymore or make whatever it was, you know, so. Final invoice from Vance Brothers for the microsurfacing on 190th. That was part of the bond. That you wanted to put on the bond payment, so. It's just a tad bit less than what they originally quoted because it was like a 500ths of a mile less or something to that effect, so pretty much the same.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So, that, everything that we did the microsurfacing on and the chip sealing is now painted.
Very
We went with 6-inch white stripes on the edge lines for everything. So that adds a little extra money, but still,
Heard a lot of compliments.
yeah.
And then I've heard, well, why'd you spend that on that road? We didn't spend much on that road.
Yeah.
So it was a great solution.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's something definitely to watch, so.
Yes. Okay, I'd move to approve invoice from Vance Brothers for the microsurfacing project, 10.65 miles, for a total of $621,704.40.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Again, the result, very nice. Your seasonal holds up.
Yeah, yeah.
For some reason I had it stuck in my head, it was 700 something, so pleased.
Yeah. I had sent this to Brad. I didn't hear back from him. Scully Partners LP is giving us an easement. They're putting up a is it a Santa Fe Trail kiosk just east of K-15 on 320th. Obviously, no problem. Top of the hill, no entrance, things like that for us.
It's west, isn't it?
What's that?
It's west of K-15.
No, east.
What is?
Yeah. I think there might be something out there, or something, I think like a half mile west, but no, this is east and.
Oh, because they told me to go out and look at it, and I said I did, and they said, I said, where do they go? And they said, go half mile west on top of the hill.
Huh.
That's
Okay.
all I know.
Well, according to his legal description, that's what it said was going east, so. But anyway, I don't really know if they can, I mean, it's basically, they sign over the easement, allowing us access, stuff like that. But anyway, I just sent it to him, I hadn't heard back, so, just FYI, but, here is a letter, it's a very tentative draft letter, that we had talked about this, a month or two ago, I guess, about.
This one for everybody? or
Yes, yes, oh, just single page. Basically a letter to KDOT, we have the engineer out here, about KDOT doing, patching, overlaying, whatever else on their, basically the radius return from where they pave through out to the normal right of way, okay? Their process, they typically do not do that, like when they did K-15, south of Marion County, they did not go east onto 90th. When we did our project, we actually went west, straight off the widening, going that way. They don't disagree that that should be done, but that's just not the way it's set up. So I guess I was talking about before, maybe if we could get a letter to them to basically request that they do that. The problem if you don't is that that area never gets touched. Because they go by with their mainline pavers. We typically go down to basically what they would call a tangential right-of-way, parallel to the roadway. That's kind of what they informally maintain, even though they may have right-of-way way back up. So that area there always gets, there actually doesn't get worked on. So with this project that they've got going down Burns especially, we're gonna have the one going into Burns and then 40th. I think they're going all the way up to Florence, so it wouldn't cover anything else up there. But anyway, connecting, if they're not connecting up to an asphalt road, it's not as big a deal, but when they're connected up to an asphalt road, it's really kind of a nice thing to do. So anyway, you guys can look at that, no time frame to send it, but I just kind of put together my comments if you have more or less or whatever else, and just let me know.
I think it's good as is.
Okay.
If commissioners have any comments on
Well, I
that?
know public perception, is, I think they think that our county road has to be taken care of right up to the edge of the state highway.
Yeah.
But yet the county road
It
has
has
to
we
be
don't
maintained.
And so
Yeah.
we've got these areas and everybody asks me when we're gonna fix them.
Yep. Yep. And it's very frustrating too, because technically speaking, we would be going out onto the KDOT right of way to do that as well, and that's,
I mean, they used to take care of those. What happened to it?
Well, they're facing the same thing as anybody else is. That's very, very high dollar stuff to do, and therefore if they can just blow and go down the highway, and why do they really care? People are turning off the highway. It's really not any big deal to them.
Yeah.
I've seen the same thing in state highways where they don't do that as well, connecting up to a state highway, so. Like I said, just something we can.
It just always looks like something never got finished.
Yeah, well, I mean, essentially it didn't, that's, those side roads, actually, by the turning movements and the stopping motions and everything else, they actually get quite a bit more distress than what the highway does.
And we see that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the same thing we face, coming up to them, so. But anyway, like I said, if you guys have
When
any.
you pave the next road, just make sure you pave it when you stop, pave a line and say Marion County.
In orange paint.
Yeah, that way when people drive across it, they realize, oh.
Sure.
You might want to copy that to the guy above him.
Well, yeah, and I was just gonna make it to Joe, copy it to the district engineer, which typically would be. But,
Would it help coming from the commission?
well, and that was my thought.
Okay, that's
If
what
you guys
I
want-
thought.
Yeah, if you guys wanna do that, I have no problem with that. Like I said, I was just kind of putting together I'm an engineer, my English isn't as good
I
as
think
my.
it'd be better to come from the
math.
commission.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's what I would actually
Yeah.
make the motion, that we take our county engineer's letter, have it printed on our stationery, and all 5 commissioners sign it at our next meeting.
Or else, or, yeah.
And allow Tina to do some grammatical.
Yes, thank you.
That would be okay with.
Look at this.
So that's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0. I think that's an important point and good letter.
Yeah.
We need to do it.
Can you email it to me so I don't have to type the whole thing over? I mean, I don't mind, but thank you.
Copy and paste it.
Scan it, copy and paste.
No, send me the Word version.
Yeah.
Grammatical.
Okay. The only other thing I had was basically dealing stuff with Brad, so we can do it later. He's not coming, or okay. So anyway, and the other thing I had was on the buildings. So unless you guys have anything else.
Is there anything else on the road and bridge? Otherwise, we'll move into building discussion.
In conversations with Bryce, there are several things that we need to get Brad to expedite. They're just not getting done. So I don't know if we address that through the commission chairman or the whole commission. But, you know, some of these things just, they've been out there too long. I mean, we all realize that. And I'm not trying to be hard on Brad or anything, but they need to get taken care of.
Maybe you could do that next 17th while we're not here. He can work in his office from Marion County.
All right, let's move into.
Come here on the regular scheduled day.
Yeah. We'll move into the real estate acquisition discussion. I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential real estate acquisition pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 6, preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate with the commission, Tina and Bryce. Let's go from 146 to 201, that'd be 15. Oh, it's 147, so we'll go 15 minutes to 202.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Green. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 202.
This conference will now be recorded.
We are out of executive session, no decisions made. Anything else? Works, Bryce? All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bryce. Tina, let's go to that short executive session for your personnel.
Okay.
I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personal matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission and Tina for 5 minutes, 2:05 to 2:10.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. We will be back at 2:10.
Fire starter.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. I will make a motion to approve FMLA for an eligible employee. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. I said earlier we were going to talk about administrative director, emergency management director. We're not going to get to that today because of time. We will handle that at our meeting on the 24th. I did mention I'd like to do an update on county administrator. Clear back a year ago already, a motion was made to have Commissioner Gehring and Commissioner Mueller gather information to move forward. Obviously, we haven't followed through on that. And in light of a number of things that have happened over the past few months, each situation, we look at each other and we go, if we would have had an administrator, we would have been in a better position. And I'm not saying anything negative about our county clerk who's doing 2 jobs at one time. It's not her job to be our administrator. But I keep being reminded we need to improve our position. We need to continue improving what we're doing for the county. I think as a commission, we have made great strides in more cooperation and working together and communicating as one voice. I think we've made some good steps there. But we need to move to the next level and have a discussion about administrator. So what we would like to propose is bringing in a consultant just to visit with us, go through the pros and the cons, then see what services they would offer if we would decide to move forward, Again, this is not a decision whether or not to do it. What I'm asking today is listen to information and an opportunity to ask questions. So the consultant we would like to bring to the commission is the one who has done the work for the administrator, City of Marion, and the City of Hillsborough, Don Ossenbaugh. Well known in the state, he has lots of connections, obviously a lot of background on what would maybe work for Marion County, what maybe worked in other counties similar, what didn't work. But if the commission would give us the consensus to go ahead and schedule that in November, not election day, but have a session where all the commissioners can ask questions, get responses from him.
Would we pay him a fee then for coming to do that?
He would require a fee if we actually hired him to go.
Okay, not the first step.
Not
The
So
individual.
he's trying to sell us something now,
So it would,
so he's coming for free.
And I'll be straight up, if we don't use a headhunter, I'm not interested, because
it needs to be
bound to
professional.
fail.
Yeah. So is there, I guess I'm gonna ask.
What'd you say, Jonah?
If we don't use a headhunter, I don't want to pursue it, because it just never turns out. They sift out.
We don't have the connections.
Well, they also know that world.
I'm open to it.
Okay, is there any opposition? Again, this is not a decision to move forward or not, this is simply.
Do we have anybody else come in and present too?
I think this is a good place to start because he has so much experience and direct. We were trying to get someone from KAC, but again, just getting somebody scheduled is just.
I think this, he'd probably be appropriate.
He would probably be a better fit than even KAC because he works more in our size of counties and in our area. Okay, if there's no opposition, then we'll Joan and I'll work together to get that scheduled. All right. I'm gonna move.
Decide what, just after the election sometime?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Good, that's good. In your spare time.
Don't let the election slow you down.
Oh, I got time on the phone, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's
And
just-
that's what we keep putting it off. We put it off because of budget. We put it off because of, all the fires that come up. Well, it's time to just bite the bullet and sit down and work through the discussion on it. All right. We've got 15 minutes before our interview starts, so I move that we recess an executive session in
Can
order.
we take a 5-minute?
We missed it.
Let's do a 10-minute executive session
Okay.
and then we'll take.
5-minute break.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of things we need to cover today. I move recess an executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 2, consultation with an attorney-client privilege with the commission, Tina, Chuck, and Brad on conference call.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Did I say 10 minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
We will be back at 2:25.
Oops, just one second. Okay, you're on.
All right, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. We're going to take a 2-minute break and then come back.
Okay,
Sure.
2-minute break.
Yep, and then we will be conducting interviews, so it'll be executive session
Go ahead.
from here on out.
Should be open like 9 to 5:30.
Everything's on?
Used to do that.
Okay, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss interviews with potential EMS director pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personal matters, not elected personnel, with the commission, the interview panel, and the candidate.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Oh, I guess I should have given that time, shouldn't I? 45 minutes, from 2:35 to 3:20. And second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 3:20. Commissioner Becker's not.
Okay.
According to Dave Clark.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're out of executive session. No decisions made. Our next interview is in 6 minutes. You want to just take a 5-minute break? Come back at 3:30? We'll take a 5-minute break, be back at 3:30.
You can make candy bar out of your truck.
I'll take care of that for a second. All right, we're on.
All right, we're back from our recess. I move that we recess into executive session in order to interview candidate for the EMS director position pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance, with the commission, the interview committee, and the candidate for 45 minutes from 3:30 to 4:15.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 4-0. We will be back at 4:15.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss candidates for the EMS director position pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance, with the commission and the interview committee for 15 minutes, 4:18 to 4:33. Second by Commissioner Dahlke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 4:33.
Recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. Appreciate the assistance of the people that have helped us with the interviews. Very much appreciated.
Everybody, all three of you appreciate it very much. Just different questions from different.
Very
people.
helpful. Thank you.
So, we've got the advertisement out for a 911 director. So I may invite some people in outside of our office to sit in on that interview for me.
Nothing wrong with that.
The way we normally do it is, there'll be a panel of my guys that sit in. Not my guys, it'll be from each one of our departments, but I may ask a couple commissioners and maybe to sit in. One of the fire chiefs to sit in, and I'll abstain. And then go off recommendation. Larry and I will do a second interview and make a decision.
Second interview is a good deal.
Yeah. It's something for you guys to think about.
Appreciate it. Good luck.
I don't have any lights yet.
They get the input on it, and you're saying they can't complain?
Yeah.
Anything else from the commission?
Don't you want to talk about the annex building?
Yeah. So I've got one last issue to bring up. We've obviously been kicking around a lot of different scenarios and moving offices, different locations, different places. The one scenario that recently has not been changing is the annex in addition to EMS. So we've got EMS in part of the annex, the other part has been remodeled. How does the commission want to proceed with that space?
Just
Planning and zoning's moving under, right?
leave it. I think we put up brakes on planning and zoning for a second, and just, my opinion, and just hold it being remodeled for a second until we.
Give it another week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, because there's one thing that's in the air right now that needs to be resolved.
Okay.
And it should be resolved pretty quickly, I think.
Okay, very good. And we will address it in the future. All right, with that, I have nothing else. I move we adjourn.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you again, everybody. Long day.
This conference is no longer